gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Makara, no relation. Let's get started today with a live video on the 1st of April. Okay? Channeling is a hoax. Channeling is a fraud. Channeling isn't real. April Fools. April Fools, motherfucker. Okay? Because we're here to change the culture when it comes down to this thing. We're here to tap into the HEYOKA energy. If you're unfamiliar with the HEYOKA, they are the Lakota and Dakota tradition, North America, and they believe in these thunder beings, okay? And these thunderous beings are very connected to the powers of nature and the powers of peering through to the unseen worlds. And it's very powerful because these sacred clowns of the Native American tradition, they would have this particular sense of power where they were able to look at the opposites and play the opposites in each moment to be a mirror and reflect back to people their own nonsense, right? And so let's say that there was a heat wave going on, a HEYOKA would just start shivering like they were in the cold. Or let's say that there was no food, there was a famine going around. They would just be like, oh man, I am so full right now, okay? Exaggerating the aspect of the state of mind or the joke in all of it, the cosmic joke in all of it. And so I wanted to talk primarily about this because I think it's a very, very interesting topic, how we as practitioners can use this HEYOKA mentality or this joking mentality to point out people's flaws. First of all, don't let people take your kindness for weakness. Just because you have a lot of compassion in your heart, just because you have a lot of love to give, it doesn't make you a doormat. It doesn't make you somebody who's easily replicable or people can step over or manipulate or, think is gullible. The HEYOKA is very good at this because they set very healthy boundaries. Okay. They set very healthy boundaries and they're able to say that no is no, enough is enough. That's not cool. And you have to have that ability to call this out in other people when you start to notice this energy of, something's not right. It's always about the understanding of your attachments. So excuse me, I said lunch. They're there to teach you about your detachment in a sense. Okay. So how do you detach from a certain situation so that you can see and tap into the play of life or Leela of life? Okay. So this is really, really powerful. I wanted to talk about this topic today. It just came up randomly because I started to understand that a lot of the times we take things so seriously and we grasp and we cling and we start to attach more to it. Once we look at the lighter side of things, oftentimes we start to take it easier, relax, embody, take it back to our own grace again, rather than what? Trying to force the situation to happen. You see, a lot of people, they try to overwhelm their systems and force things to happen. That's why it'll never work with a HEYOKA energy present, because it's always going to test and challenge you, in those moments when you're taking life too seriously, when you're like, I need the promotion, or, I need this wedding to go exactly perfect. The HEYOKA energy oftentimes comes in and some little mishap or foul play or something happens right in between these little liminal spaces when we're taking things so serious, where the universe just reminds us it's not that serious, man. So, hey, if the HEYOKA spirits, they rain on your wedding or rain on your parade, don't get butthurt about it. That's my advice. Don't start to complain that, life is not going my way and getting more bitter. That's not what they're trying to teach you, okay? The energy of the joker or the jester is trying to teach you to laugh it off, not take it so serious. Stop clinging so much to the external world, okay? This is all a hologram to begin with. So just enjoy the hologram and enjoy the thrill of it. Yeah, you're wearing an Armani suit, but it doesn't mean shit. Okay, don't get attached to that Armani suit. There'll be many more other suits that you can buy. Okay, don't get so wrapped up in a storyline or a brand name or something like this. I used to do this in the past, man. I used to feel like, okay, I would only want to wear Givenchy, right? But then I was like, this is not the type of lifestyle that I want to be leading, because I'm attached to this. Like, if it doesn't go like this, then that's also taking away from my present moment in my life. and the way that I'm able to actualize that life. So this is what I'm talking about, guys, right? Because this is really, really, this is like one of those flow codes that we're not able to see at times. Okay, it's hidden to us, it's invisible to us, but we've got to be able to see it in the right state of mind. We're able to see it in the right state of mind. We're able to perceive it. Okay, so how do you go about finding your heyoka or even tapping into this energy? You know, yo, Prosper, what's good? So just talking about the heyoka energy today. So, um, yeah, tap in. So how do you go about finding this energy in terms of your own lineage or your own tribe, right? One of the things is you want to look for things that just make you laugh uncontrollably. Okay, try and see what is it about that particular thing that makes you laugh uncontrollably. And you got to notice your style of humor, right? Where it transcends into. So whether it's more like slapstick, someone's hitting somebody and you find that funny, or somebody's slipping on a banana peel, you find that funny, right? That's one style of humor. Then there's like a darker comedy, right? Like dark humor, dark comedy, wittiness, sarcasm, that kind of thing. And then we have another world where it's like the playfulness of it all, right? Making light of situations. That's another style, right? So you have to find your own style and to blend these styles together if you want to, right? Like there's going to be certain days where it's just your authentic humor just spills out of you. It's just like honey. You just got to let it drip. You can't try to formulate this perfect honeycomb with that honey. You just got to allow that honey to do what it needs to do and drip as exactly that it's the way that it's meant to. Okay. So you might notice that this Heyoka energy, oftentimes will come at the most random times to just remind you, keep you sane, keep you almost a little bit on your toes, right? It keeps you alert. It keeps you mindful. I believe that Heyokas are actually mindfulness teachers, to be honest with you. I'll give you an example, okay? I just finished my meditation retreat that my dad is running yesterday, and it was great. And one of the challenges that I got from a Heyoka being was to wear these harem pants. I love harem pants, bro. I have like probably like 5 pairs. Um, Probably because it's future projecting into my future harem. But irregardless, I was wearing these pants, right? And on one side of the pants, the pocket had a hole in it. Okay, so if I would put my phone in that pocket, guess what? My phone will be smashed on the floor if I decided to put it in the left pocket. So the challenge was that I had to consciously keep my phone on my right pocket. Okay. So I had to do that through the entirety of that day of that meditation retreat. Right. And I was like, man, like I was doing it at times and then I would just like notice it and then put it back. But it was such a mindfulness challenge for me and an alertness challenge for me that I started to actually pay attention. You know, I paid attention to that, but I started to also pay attention to other things around me. It was almost like an awareness spillover, right? And so this can happen at times when you give yourself a challenge or a task like this. Back in the day in college, I had to take this college course on poetry, right? I thought I would like envelop it with some of my own hip hop sensibilities and stuff like this. So I thought I could get away with it. I just took the class anyway. It was on Dadaism and Surrealism. Okay, so these are like different styles of poetry. So in one of the classes, they asked us to do a particular project, right? And it was on Ulipo poems. Okay, what's up, Starnak? Uh, so it was on Ulipo poems, right? So Ulipo poems are like these poems where you give yourself a constraint, right? So it would be like, okay, I can only use this magazine and I can only go to this chapter of this magazine in order to pull out the gold from it, right? I can't go beyond that page. So you're just giving yourself some kind of constraint, some kind of a limit, some kind of a boundary. And this is very similar to a Heyoka energy, actually. They give themselves a constraint, right? They give themselves a boundary of some sort, but they're also able to play within the constraints of that boundary. They're able to go to the edge of that, if that makes sense, right? Make themselves laugh, kind of almost like dissolve away their egos, right? In a way where they're getting closer to the edge and they're, stretching the dimensions of their mind. So anyway, in this style of poetry, Ulipo. I think I chose like some random page of a book or something like this. Maybe it was like a Stoic book or something I had at the time for the poem. But what I did is I made the poem like a dinosaur, right? So I made each word look like a brontosaurus or something like this, and that's what I turned in for the project. And it was very interesting because the poem itself kind of went back to one of my childhood nicknames, which was Sumzors. Okay, so some of the like my peers, you could say, called me Sumzors for some random apparent reason. I don't know. Like kids get nicknames based on random things, and I have so many nicknames throughout my life that I have never been able to stick to one. But yeah, you can call me, you know, I know Prosper, you call me like Uncle Sumed, right? But yeah, like Uncle Makara, Zoom, Scripts, so many nicknames. But what is the power of the nickname? The power is the playfulness and the inside joke, the story with that nickname and what it means. You see what I'm saying? So similarly, if you meet a girl, right, and you're flirting with her and you immediately give her a nickname, right, that's already, you're creating a portal between you two. You guys see that? You're creating like a subliminal hidden world away from the restaurant or wherever you're at, right? You could be at the beach, but now you're in Narnia. Like it doesn't even matter, right? Because you've created that inside joke. You've created that word sandwich portal with her, right? And she's adding the lettuce, and then you're adding the tomatoes, and it's like you're stacking on layer after layer of the inside joke that you're creating together. You see what I'm saying? So this is really powerful and key. We give each other like nicknames sometimes, man. It just happens. I've gotten nicknamed by mentors before. That's how I got the nickname Dr. Scripts, because I spoke AZD's tech through that specific lens, and he gave me that nickname, right? For somebody else, Zumed came from this Australian guy who couldn't pronounce my name, which was Sumed. It's not that difficult, bro. But regardless, during that time, he called me Zumed just for fun. And then I adopted that username, right? I adopted that name, Zoom, later on when I went to Costa Rica, where I formulated that. So nicknames, I think, are a HEYOKA energy by itself. The ability to nickname yourself. Like, let me ask you guys. I mean, what made you create your nicknames? Starneck. How did that happen? Or Prosper P, how did you decide Prosper P? You know what I mean? I think it's interesting because we all have a backstory, right? That formulates this cosmic joke that we're living in. It's almost like the punchlines are there, right? We have to be able to access those and pull it out and actually have it weave into our living realities, our waking world, right? And yeah, man, we're gonna burn a bunch of candles today for some Heyoka April Fool's rituals, probably, and get the vibes going. Get the vibes going. I was outside today, and I went to the restaurant with my family, and I ordered like a rice, and the rice was like three times rice, right? It was like usually you get rice, it's like this. Imagine like a clone of that three times, right? So it's like this much rice. It's like a landing strip of rice rather than how it's meant to arrive. And I was like, okay, April Fools, right? But in that moment, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pack this away anyway, so I might as well enjoy this, right? I might as well enjoy this experience while it lasts, right? The universe is giving me some gift right now, some extra rice or whatever, and I'm here to just embrace it, cherish it, savor it. Why would I push that away? Why would I not allow myself to eat that rice or whatever? Just take it back, bro. No, I'm gonna fucking enjoy every morsel of that because the universe is giving me. You know what I mean? Um, Prosper P says my name originated from the place I grew up in and then later changed. Oh, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Yeah, the place you're from, right? The origin point. That's so important, and I think that's so key. I mean, the whole point of Primal Sutra, right, was going back to your origins, back to the root cause of all your issues. Don't just zoom into what's happening right now. There's an invisible thread of trauma or wounding that's in the background somewhere. And so that's why we emphasize doing the core wound work, because it's like hitting all dominoes, right? It's like a domino effect. You change your core belief, all other beliefs that stack on top of that core belief start to change, right? So let's say you're like, I'm not good enough. That's your core belief, right? I'm incompetent. I'll never be good enough. Let's say that is, yeah, back to monkey, right? Let's say that that's your belief. I'm not good enough. Good enough for what though, bro? You're not being specific enough. It's just your mind is coming up with some random, code. Is it that you're not good enough to be a human? To be you, bro? You're good enough to be you. You're the only you that I know. Like, what? Who are you comparing yourself to, right? And so it's like this not good enough curse. If you can change that core belief very slowly by peering into the positive and understanding where you are good enough, it actually will change the code around, right? If you change that core idea around in your subconscious, of course, all of the ideas that are telling you maybe I'm not good enough in relationships, I'm not good enough in my business or work, that's going to change too. Because you're like, my competency is not based on how other people rate me or whatever. You start to change these old ideas or something like, if I get the promotion, only then will I be good enough. You're giving yourself these permission slips, right? Of how to be. So once you get to the real core limiting belief or that understanding and you change that shit around, it just, right? Domino effect to the rest. Thank you for the hearts, bro. Man, what kind of weird stuff is happening on the planet nowadays, huh? With the whole Diddy investigation and all that, man. It's like this world is so wild, huh? Like I wake up every day and I'm like, what is this glitch? What is this weird simulation that we're all part of? It's like we're the only beaming beings of light in this thing, going through a world that is corrupt and like full of darkness and stuff like that. But I understand that's my own darkness projected outwards too. I have to have the consciousness to recognize that. The only reason these bad people exist is because I imagined them to exist. And we all did. We all did. We fell for it. They're saying, don't look at this thing. That's what's going to manifest because we're all going, let's look at that thing, right? So it's kind of a very deceptive thing to make you look at all this bad news and evil shit and have it promulgate in your mind like that. It becomes a core belief, you can say, that's been programmed into us. So we have to be almost like the blank slate again. That's why we speak about, emptying the mind and mushin and meditation and being purified and, doing Reiki and all this stuff that stacks to get you to that pure place where you can actually make a conscious choice and a decision that's going to help your life, right? It's not going to be from this programmed place. Because I can make lots of decisions and they're coming from my own programming. And then it's like, I'm being like like being pulled around, loads of weird shit going on. Yeah, exactly, Andrea. Light shines and heals the darkness. Exactly. Wherever you shine the light, that's where it heals, and these dark beings, they actually want the light. That's the funny thing, right? They try to avoid the light. They think it's, love and light is icky or whatever, but that's the very thing that will save them, which is funny. Could you touch on shadow work? My shadow self is pretty nasty, dark as fuck. Yeah, same here, brother. But I kind of like it. Odd, maybe. Yeah, you like it because it reminds you of your wholeness, right? Like, the thing about it is, like, I know I have this very rebellious like side of me that's like very scary to me, um, because it can go into an edge where it can start to harm myself and others, right? So it starts with being conscious of the shadow first, right? So now you know what the shadow is. Let's say that in your shadow, you're weak, right? You're a weak person, but on your ego side, you're showing I am strong, right? So there's going to be this battle internally of like the ego and the shadow playing together. You know what I mean? So that's what you're feeling of like, I kind of like it though. That's the ego coming in to merge with the shadow and making it something about your personality or something. It wants to cling. It wants some semblance of reality. So I'll get to shadow work. I just want to look at Starnack's comment. Starnack is one of my new aliases, an abbreviation of my full name, a name for my superhero or villain new path. I like that. Yeah, you know what? When I coach a lot of teenagers and so forth, I always ask them their gamer names, their gamer tag names. And I always find that it reveals something so deep that they never realize. Like one guy, I don't know if is it confidentiality that I'm breaking if I tell you guys his username? I don't know. Anyway, his name was something like Red Eye or something like this, right? So we understood that that links back into his idea of needing to be in this laser focus. You get what I mean? Like his username revealed something that he needed as an answer to his mind. Like he needed to focus, and so red eye created that level of like, I have a red laser beam in my eye, right? Ready to focus. So that's an example, right? It's very powerful to do that. Embrace and know your shadow, and it will become an ally. Absolutely. Absolutely. The way that I've understood my shadow is like, it's working in a very deceptive type of way, right? It's trying to insinuate things, it's trying to tempt me, it's trying to move me into a specific direction. If I learn to love that part of me and I don't keep shaming it and like pushing it away and ignoring it and trapping it in a cage, but I actually let my beast out, right? I let my shadow out, I let him out to play, I give him some kind of outlet, right? This is why I do mixed martial arts, or go to the gym, or do flow training or flow yoga. This kind of stuff just shuts off my ego and helps me kind of like purge my shadow nature, through these actions. And so, how well are you exercising, right? Exercising your demons, right? How well are you exercising them? How well are you banishing them? Are you keeping your system pure and clean? Are you setting boundaries with your internal world? Okay. Yes. So embrace and know your. Yeah, I already read that. Dingbat is a reminder to be aware of my shadow, of my ego, and understand it is here trying to keep me alive. Mm. Be aware of your ego. Yep. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to have a very healthy ego. A lot of spiritual community will tell you, kill your ego, destroy your ego. You don't need it. I think you do need it. I think it's the guidance system at times, and it's a relationship to your own core and your sacral. I'll need new outlets. Exactly, man. Like just create some outlets for your shadow. Honestly, it just needs a place to express itself so that it can feel connected to you and more whole to you. The more you keep repressing and pushing away the shadow, right? This is why people don't want to do the shadow work. Nobody does, right? You feel a resistance towards it. It's like, oh, like I really have to face this stuff, right? But it's incredible the amount of gold that's on the other side of that dark cave that you fear. You know what I mean? That's the power of shadow work. I got an off switch when it comes down to an ego and emotions. Off switch. What do you mean by that? Like, you shut your ego off, or you shut your emotions down? Is that what you mean? Like very quickly? Mm. That's powerful, man. I think we all need an off switch at times. I like to call it pausing the video game, right? Where you go to menu mode again. It's like just observing, going into observer mode, not like I have to press play right now. It's like I can look at my thoughts from a distance without getting involved in it or like drowning in the thought. Um, yeah, that's Surrender Experiment, Michael Singer. If you've ever heard of that particular book, very powerful. Um, Untethered Soul by him is also incredible. So definitely look into those two. And who are some other spiritual teachers, man? Let's take it back to the HEYOKA topic. Let's take it back to that. So, learning to laugh in this journey is really, really important. So imagine that, you're struggling with like your back or whatever, right? You're struggling with your back, let's say the top part of your back, your shoulders or whatever. And you see some guy, right, carrying like a giant building on his back, right? Just outside your window. You'd be like, dude, are you mocking me? Like I have this back pain thing over here and you're out there like carrying some kind of so that actually reminds me that that's my golden shadow, right? It's reminding me of a pain or a thing that I'm unwilling to face in my real life, right? And it's giving me a blaring reminder. It's like right in my face, very obvious, right? So that's something that obviously some dude isn't carrying something on his building on his back. That's just a random example, right? But you get what I mean. Like this is a powerful instance. Okay. You're like, man, I'm done with my skincare, man. These fucking pimples or whatever. and you don't learn to love yourself with pimples, it's like you're gonna get more blackheads. You're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like you're not embracing it. But then some dude comes with the clearest skin on planet Earth as you're watching an ad, and you're getting triggered by that's HEYOKA. You know what I mean? That's HEYOKA going, hey, I know you're serious about this thing, huh? You're attached to this thing, huh? Okay, let's poke at you a little bit to see if you're really tapped in. Okay, can you handle my humor? Can you handle the truth through humor? Okay, so that's really, it is a form of shadow work, these heyokas, right? Because they're just giving it to you just like boom, but through humor, through a joke. Yeah, laughter is like a banishing ritual, we say, Andrea, right, in Primal Sutra. Because I mean, even in chaos magic, they say that actually. Like if you get like I'm going insane, that kind of feeling on the spiritual journey, and you start laughing and laughing and laughing, you'll start to release a lot of gunk, right? You will just start to release so much gunk, and that laughter will find a way to be your release of emotion. You see? Imagine if you, yeah, there was that one thing I saw on Instagram, which was really hilarious. It's like this one pastor, or he was like a priest, and he was like, what if you just laughed at your demons? You know? What if you just laughed at them? You're goofy, or something like that. You say, like, you know? And that's such a powerful mentality. Like, imagine the confidence with which that man lives, right? Like, such a positive life. You demons, right? I'm gonna swallow you. I'm gonna take you home to hell and back. I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna capture you. I'm gonna put you in a cage. You're gonna put me in a cage, bro. You know that's the energy. You're not going into the indoctrination. You're not going into the temptation, the programming, right? It's like the darkness can only control you in through two ways. I got this from our adept, Icy. Okay. Um, so Icy was saying, I like calling him Icy instead of Matt. This is fun. Mm. So Icy was saying, lessons and blessings for the light, and the darkness is through temptations and distractions, right? So the more you get tempted and distracted and you go away from your focus and from your mission and soul's mission and path, you know that that's the darkness trying to pull the strings on you. Okay. But what if you love it? You're like, yo, I'm getting distracted by this right now, but I love it. But I love you, you know? It's amazing when you can learn to do that, you know? Everyone here, namaste, and I'm so happy and grateful to catch you in the live stream. You're welcome. Great to have you on here. Yeah. Great to interact live like this. And yeah, I think I might do more of these, to be honest with you. It just saves me time to edit, and just more pure, you know, just a free flow of source energy. And I like this. So yeah, man, very, very powerful, this topic. I think what did you say earlier, Andrea? You said, don't let the ego run the show. Shadow work is our demons that we might need to save the day. If we're attacked by others. Yeah, you know, there's a concept in that I learned from Vajrayana Buddhism, that they have these yidams, which are like tantric deities, right? So you have a root guru, your main guru. Mine is associated with Buddha Haruka and so forth, and Jason Kappa. So that's my root guru, right? And then from there, I have all of these other deities and other beings, right? That are also gurus and yidams and deities and beings, right? And then you also have this understanding of there are these particular wrathful beings, right, that protect the light beings. So these are like, they look like wrathful, like creatures. You might have seen some of this in tantric Buddhism, right? These scary looking figures. You think, what are those, right? Why are they making love with each other? You know, those creatures are actually very dark, wrathful beings, but they are wrathful to protect the Buddha. They're wrathful to preserve the Dharma and the compassion for it. So imagine if you could use your demons as guard dogs. You get what I mean? That's a similar idea, right, Andre? It's like you don't. So shadow work is our demons that we might need to save the day, right? So If we look at it like this guard dog type of energy, right, it can actually protect us rather than ensnare us or tempt us or distract us, using that dark to protect the light. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful. It's a powerful understanding, you know? Um, because, yeah, if you have darkness attacking you and then they're going against more darkness, it's like, damn, It's like you've kind of jutsued them in their own spell there, You trapped them in a cage somewhere. And they're fighting against their own reflections almost, in a sense, you know? Um, yeah, it's powerful, man. And these topics, they came from a lot of contemplation, cognition, just sitting there meditating, lots of random prayers stacked on top of each other. It's been fun, man. I understand that all of these frequencies or subliminals or prayers that I do, they're all acting as primers for me to tap into flow, right? They're just little permission slips for me to already be my natural self. So they're not like some kind of, medication, right? They're not some kind of pain medication that I'm, setting off. It's like a stacking of the blessings that are being generated through this one vibration or this one energy that I'm maintaining throughout my day. So when I notice little dips in it, I start to rise again. And it's almost like going back and forth. Like sometimes, like let's say I drink my coffee and I forget to say Jai Guru or I send it to a deity. Like in between drinking, I realize it, right? As I'm drinking, I realize it. Then I can do it later. It's fine. It's just about being consistent, committed, conscious, through this process. That's it. Don't need to beat yourself up about it, Oh man, I missed today's meditation. Oh, what a horrible feeling. No, instead you meditate in whatever task you got to do that day. You practice it. You go barefoot and you stand in your, little balcony garden, you just embrace nature, whatever, like just for like 15 minutes and you come back and you feel like a whole new human being. You feel like you've gone through some kind of a factory reset, right? Like you're in your default mode again. For a HEYOKA, lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of being out in nature, um, lots of understanding how to protect yourself from other people's energies because you will be absorbing that. They say HEYOKA empaths are really good at just like taking other people's stuff and then regurgitating it back. Kind of like a parrot energy, right? Of just like, I'll take whatever you give me and then I'll give it back to you. It's like a kung fu. Whew. Like they're giving you some kind of move. It's like you Aikido them, use their move against themselves, and you kind of push them away. Like that's kind of the energy of the HEYOKA. So once you get that, you can actually create almost like a verbal jujitsu with people, right? They tell you something, and then you're like, yeah, perhaps, right? I'm saying perhaps, but that's a very tactical maneuver. They're not able to say yes or no. They can't read my mind. You see? So it's all about like really understanding where is it coming from? Where is it going to? Okay. Shadow work is the work done to come in alignment. Yeah. Tap into the inner gold of one's own shadow. And that's what we call the golden shadow, my friend. The fear of your own success. Let's go. Right? You see someone with a magnetic trophy, that thing within you goes, man, I want that too. But that's because you can have that too. You can choose that too. You can get to do that too. And that's the power of that. When you can recognize it in somebody else, you don't get jealous. You get admiring qualities showing up. You get respect showing up, right? Internally. What are all these fucking noises out in the streets of India, bro? Like, what are these cars trying to do even? They had to set me right next to a highway, right? That's my freaking, I signed up for this in samsara, bro. I swear. I did this, I had to be lucky in a past life to have my father be my guru, bro, in this life. Like, I had to do something, right? To continue on this progression. Like, that's wild. Always a party. Always a party, says Ryan G. Okay, so who's next? Andrea says, time is not linear, and the blessing of our water and foods can be done best before, but also after. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whenever you get a chance, you know, I love to bless my food before I eat it. You don't know what that chicken's been through, you know, karmically. I don't know. You know, I just want to do it anyway. Um, just because it's powerful, because that's, you have to beware of this, be very wary of this as a shaman. As you're peering into this other world, you realize like, yo, I went to a restaurant and I had a strange you know, experience at that restaurant. I had a stomach upset. Make sure that that's not a spiritual thing, bro. Make sure that that's a dietary and digestive thing that you just went through. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say on that. So yeah, you just got to be conscious of this journey, right, and what's coming up. Don't be scared of it. Be in awe of it. That's what I'd say. Okay, be in wonder of it. Yeah, the spiritual world is sometimes terrifying. It's like, what can happen? It's a giant question mark. But I said in one of my videos, I choose to remain at the center point of that question mark. I'm the dot. I'm not the little swivel on top, right? Golds is Prosper P, by the way, Ryan G. So he's saying Unk Ryan G. No relation, right? Uncle Ryan, no relation. Uncle Makara, no relation. Or all relation. I should start saying all relation. I'm related to everybody. Okay. Wouldn't that be a spiritual chess move? Okay. Heyoka energy is awesome. I agree with you, Andrea. I think it's incredible. I think it can teach us so much. And especially the way that they use to, they're like a power of an atomic bomb in a character. You guys get that? Like the sacred clown can go all the way next to the politician and change the whole financial government structure from the top. Yeah, who's this gold guy, right? Are you gold or are you gold plated? We are one, exactly. So, uncle, all relations, you know, Uncle Makara, all relations. So they have the power to topple governments over and like take, you know, the highest forms of power, right? The sacred clown energy. So if you're kind of like, oh, that's just a joke, they're just clowning around. No, 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 no. This is the Joker on methane gas and like freaking, you know, steroids. This is no joke, guys. Okay, this is a joke, but it's not a joke, right? It's the joke that keeps on joking. You get what I mean? It's the process of like, yeah, one joke ends, another joke begins. Okay, so they can joke themselves up to the president's chamber, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the power of the Heyoka energy, bro. That's why you got to respect it. You know, I don't respect the Heyoka. I just respect power where power is very easily recognizable. You know, the cosmic gesture. That's right. You know, sometimes life is a cosmic joke. It really is. It's ridiculous. You know, I mean, really, like, what is actually going on out in the physical world? So confusing. I tend not to get wrapped up and involved in that. You know what? My father shared a story in the meditation retreat. He talked about the Mahabharata in a very specific way. He said that was a bloodbath, right? That whole war, like, and all the characters took sides. They all picked sides. Like, I'm going to join this side or I'm going to join the opposing side, right? But then there was the crow. The crow is the one that sat on top of the tree watching this bloodbath, not reacting. So sometimes not reacting is procrastination, but sometimes not reacting is a superpower. It's wisdom. It's what is needed. You know, the ability to look above, not involve yourself in that war. You know, picking a side. What if that crow picked a side? He'd be a part of the war. He'd die. You know, this is the same way that I perceive, you know, the light and dark thing. It's like, why are you picking sides? It's all oneness, right? Let me just sit at the top of the tree, just looking at this light and dark play happening, and make a choice. You know, live with the freedom of that. And of course, the Mahabharata is a great storyline, but I think that's such an interesting energy, right? More like the Loki energy. Yeah, totally. It's totally that Loki energy, and it's all kinds of gestures that you pick up, right? These different, you know, Cernunnos. I know one of the pagan gods, fertility gods. Nature has that similar quality of like the. It's funny because they both have like the horns, right? So it's like the good and bad merged into one, almost the light and dark merged into one. I think that's the reason why these cabal people have like this light and dark theme all over, like the checkerboard theme and all of that stuff. Like I think that's like a primary. They realize something in regards to that, at least. Like I'm not saying they're doing it in a very corrupt, not uncorrupt way, right? But they understand certain things, right? They understand the codes behind it's just being skewed into a very um, bad way, you could say. It's just being infiltrated. It's like the swastika is a powerful symbol of unity, but look what the Nazis did with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, um, it's what you choose to do with it, really. It's a learning experience, absolutely. You know, one of my mentors, Dane, he's a powerful sorcerer too, but he's a wealth wizard, okay? And yeah, very inspiring guy. So he, in one of his classes, he said for the students to create an altar for someone that they hate, right? And so this old Jewish lady created a kind of a little altar for Hitler or whatever. And this other person created like this liberal person created a Donald Trump memorabilia, like an altar, and burned candles, you know? And like all the people that they hate, they give love to, they forgive. You know, and I thought that was, to some people looking on the outside, like the husband got confused. Like, why do you have, you know, Matt Damon as an altar? Right? He got jealous or whatever, you know? No, honey, I hate him. That's why I'm, you know. So it can be confusing. I get it. I get it. It's a context dependent. But the idea behind sending love to an energy that you hate is such a powerful concept and idea, right? It's like love can rule over it all because it is what we truly are, you know, at the core of it. So, yeah, man, we're like walking love broadcasters, to be honest. It's wild how it happens like that. And some people's broadcast system maybe is you know, doesn't have a strong enough frequency to let people actually hear what they're saying, you know. Um, but with the right kind of parameters, the right kind of exercises, habits, belief systems, that thing starts to change, you know. That's why your personal history controls your astral form. Okay, so let's say that you in a past life, you helped many people, you know, in a hospital from some danger. Okay, now in this waking life, what you'll get is perhaps the same blessing trickling in through this waking life in some other way, right? Where you're noticing that I haven't been to a hospital in a very long time, you know? So maybe it's your health that you is being impacted, but you're not even noticing that it's happening from past incarnation that's been passed on to you, right? And so I just like to give love to the past in general, like to all ancestors before me. I think that's a very quick hack in a sense, because you can go into each and every, you know, Akashic record chamber and try to open it, or I can just make a general rule of any energy that was behind me, I send it love, I send it grace, you know. And I think that's a powerful way that you can use this. What you bless blesses you back, and what you damn damns us back. Yeah, exactly, exactly. What? Yeah, what you damns you back. Straight up. If you're like, I love it's like in Buddhism, right? They have the idea of bodhicitta, which is the Buddha heart, which is technically Buddha mind, because mind and heart, this is the root. They say that the heart, this is the root mind in Buddhism, right? This is the root mind. It's a different mind, right? It's the root of the mind. This is just the mental mind, right? So they say that I will become a Buddha for the benefit of all, right? You take everybody up with you. It's like the win-win-win. Win for me, win for you, win for the universe. Everybody come enlighten with me. I'm bringing no. That's why I always say we're all gonna make it, right? In my videos, because I understand that concept. If I'm really gonna be a Buddha, we're all gonna make it. No leftovers, right? There's nobody left behind. You know, when back in the days you had sports and like one kid was picked last. No, that's not happening on my team. Okay, you're all getting picked, but it's about how you go about it in your individual flavoring in your own way, right? Maybe you don't have to be beside us. You can love us from a distance. That's fine too, right? But we're bringing everybody up. That's the energy of the upward spiral gang, right? Love is the universal energy. Yeah. So strong, so muscular. All right, cool, man. What else do we talk about? Oh yeah, so yeah, as I was speaking about like the bodhicitta, the understanding, right? Universal compassion. So if you're like, I love everybody, I have compassion for the entire planet, but you know what? Jeffrey can go to hell. I don't like that guy. You know, then your bodhicitta, right? Your Buddha mind has like a crease in it. It has like a, and it slowly cracks open, right? All of it. That's you want to think about it, right? It's like, yes, I love everybody, but also that Jeffrey guy, though, I don't really like. And that actually crumbles the glass shards of the heart, right? And it stops you from that enlightenment. It's like an enlightenment block, almost in a sense. If you can be like, I love everybody equally. But if you add the but, man, it's an eraser, right? So you got to be wary of that. Add an and instead. Okay. Okay. That's how you stop the judgment. Jeffrey's kind of weak and he's getting better. I see his improvement. Instead of Jeffrey's being weak, but I don't see any improvement, right? It's like it's like one is saying full stop and one is saying dot, 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 his journey can be greater. I'm not, okay, Sarah is broke. That's a judgment, but she can't afford it. And she will be able to afford it, or she can't afford it yet. The word yet creates that possibility. You see what I'm saying? So it's using the language that allows it. Enlightenment, exactly. We need to lighten up for enlightenment. Okay, we can't be so serious because a lot of people will get very serious about it. Like you have to have the visualization crystal clear and perfect in order for this to. No, it's like I'm dedicating myself. I'm scared of samsara, and I'm gonna be reborn as a hell being or something like a really bad, shitty experience of life. I'm gonna be like some fish, just like floating around. Dude, I don't want that. I'm scared of it. I genuinely am. I don't want to be a fish in my next life. I know I'd be a baller fish, like with weird wings or something, right? But I just I don't want that reality. So I would much rather. I would much rather put that energy into worrying about my future lives as well, because I know I have future lives. I just, there's a deep understanding of that I understand that somehow this waking life has a ripple effect on my next generation or who I'm affecting in this timeline. You know what I mean? So yeah, stop judging. Turn your judgment into curiosity. That's what I would say. Okay. I wouldn't say fear is the enemy. It's actually, fear is more. If you can create the fear to be your friend as well, that would be great. So I always say, you are my peer, my fear. You were right beside me. You were like my comrade. You might be pulling me in this specific direction and way that's not healthy for me at this moment. I would much rather choose love, but I still respect you regardless. I know you're trying to protect me, bro. You know. So someone was saying, can I eliminate fear completely from my mind? There is a way to do that through the root mind and so forth, and through enlightenment. I think that's one way. Okay, that's definitely one way. However, why would you want to eliminate it completely? You know what I mean? Because it's going to protect you in some moments. The fear is there to protect you for your survival, right? For your survival-based needs. So there was an Aikido teacher, Robert Nadeau, who used to say the fear is your call to action. It's actually what you lean into, not what you, push away from. So To me, fear is not really my enemy. It used to be. I would say it used to be in my past. I used to resist fear and like resist resistance, you know. Now I'm just in acceptance of it, and I understand it's there to teach me just like any other emotion is my teacher. So yeah. Awesome, guys. Really long live stream today, like 50 minutes or something. Cool, cool. I appreciate this. I appreciate all your time and effort for showing up. Crush it today, April Fools. Let's get it. Laugh it off. We're never, we're all going to make it. May we never be the same again. Upward spiral. Let's go. May the flow be with you. Us. Peace. Thank you. Thank you.